Sunny bhai, what do you make of this India-Pakistan encounter in the current circumstances? I believe you're already in Dubai. We've heard from former players. Some have supported this game, saying that, listen, don't mix cricket with politics. Then there are those that are really questioning the intention of the government as well as the BCCI. Where do you stand on India playing Pakistan in the current circumstances?
Well, you see, whatever the personal thinking that you may have, at the end of the day, it's the government that takes the call. And whatever the call the government takes, I think the players have to follow that. Players and the BCCI, and that's exactly what has happened. So it doesn't really matter what you and I think. It is at the end of the day what the government wants, and I think that is what is happening in this instance.
So, what do you make of the encounter now on the field? Because, as I said, these are unusual circumstances. Of course, India-Pakistan is always a fiery encounter, but there are enough people who have said that they will not watch this game. How do you think that will impact the match on the ground? Do you think it's lost its edge, the usual edge that we see in India-Pakistan encounter? Or do you think, because of the circumstances at play, this will be an even more fiery contest?
Well, in terms of the cricket is always very interesting because teams between India and Pakistan most times have been well-matched teams. Sometimes, one team has been pretty superior, and India in recent times have been pretty good because they've got a very, very good all-round team. So the matches have tended to be, at least in the 50 overs format, have tended to be a bit one-sided. But the T20 is a different animal, different format, you could say. And Pakistan have beaten India in the T20 World Cup as well. So yes, I think there will be quite a bit of interest as far as the cricket lover is concerned. And it doesn't have to be an Indian or a Pakistani. The cricket lover will get to see some good cricket. And yes, I think it'll be a fiercely competitive game. Definitely, it'll be a fiercely competitive game.
Sunny, if I take a look at the ICC ranking, if I take a look at how the two teams have performed recently, there seems to be a gulf between India and Pakistan. India start as the clear favorites. Having said that, this is a new tournament. We've already seen both teams play one match each. Conditions are going to be different. Based on those little performances that you've seen in those matches that they've played so far, which team are you going to be giving a massive edge to? What is it that you've picked up in that India match and the Pakistan match?
I don't think you should read too much into these results because, the margin of wins itself tells you that what kind of opposition there was. And I don't want to also write off the opposition because everybody starts, on a note where they're learning. Both UAE, Oman are at the learning stage, and playing against big teams is only going to help their development if they learn from every game. So I don't think the results actually tell you too much what it might have given to the Indians, because the Indian team's been pretty much the same. A lot of people, even in Pakistan, would have seen this Indian team and would know the strengths and weaknesses of this Indian team. On the other hand, there are quite new names as far as the Pakistan team is concerned, including the captain. And so therefore, for the Indians, they would have had a good look at some of the new names in the Pakistan team, because you can get all kinds of information, video information, but actually seeing yourself gives you a lot better idea as to the kind of opposition to expect.
One thing that we love doing here, Sahiba, you did mention as to what is it that India can pick up when you look at that Pakistan team, and interesting points made by Mr. Gavaskar. This is for the very first time you will see this Pakistan team play a big encounter without Babar Azam, Rizwan. So Indian fans are also not going to be familiar with that team. Yet what they've done is gotten a few young players. They've tried to pack their team with a lot of multi-dimensional players, and I think that's the way T20 cricket is going, and they're trying in that sense to try and ape the Indian team, because Indian team has been doing this for some time, and no wonder they are the current T20 champions. But as I said, there's one thing that we really like doing here, Sahibai, on India today, is when we look at an encounter, we like to break it into percentage. So if you're going to look at the ratio, what percentage are you going to give India and what you're going to give Pakistan ahead of this match?
I would think that, India would be 60-40. But Pakistan have just won a tri-nation series there. So they are in flow, they're in rhythm. And Pakistan always has an unpredictable element about it. They sometimes produce a star player from out of nowhere. So, and particularly in the T20 format, it's a matter of just one over that can change the game with both bat and ball. An over costing, say, 20, 22 runs, or an over in which 2 or 3 wickets fall can turn the game around. So it's hard to predict. But I still, being an Indian, I would think that India have the better chance than Pakistan.
Okay, you said 60-40, fair enough. What's that one scenario then in which Pakistan you think can upset India? I'm looking at from India's point of view. What is that one area that they have to guard against, they have to be wary of, so as to ensure that the better team on the day wins?
I think the one scenario is in the first 6 overs, the power play. Always, in any T20 format, the power play is so decisive more than anything else. Yes, there are the last 4 overs that can change the game as well, but the power play, whichever team wins the power play, if a team wins both the power plays, the batting power play and the fielding power play, then they are more likely to go on to win. So we'll just have to watch out for that. So in India, we'll have to watch out for that. That in the batting power play, they don't lose too many wickets, but score at a pretty healthy rate. Maybe get in 6 overs about 9 runs and over, 10 runs and over. If they get that, that'd be fantastic. By maybe losing just a wicket. And when Pakistan batting in those first 6 overs, if they can capture 2 or 3 wickets, considering maybe 40 runs, then they'll have had a good start to try to win the match.
So as you mentioned, they've got to be a bit careful, India, in the power play, ensure that they don't lose too many wickets there. But I'm just looking at that India squad. I think this is going to be envy of the entire world when you've got someone like Akshar Patel batting at 8, who knows, maybe Hardik Pandya maybe batting at 7. That looks like a formidable batting lineup. Yet, if I take a very closer look at this team, I did speak about Babar Azam, Rizwan not playing for Pakistan. A closer look at this Indian team, one name really stands out which is not part of this team, and that is Virat Kohli. He, of course, is retired from the T20 format. And why is it that I mentioned Virat Kohli? Because every time India have been up against Pakistan and any time they've been in trouble, it's Virat Kohli who's always put his hand up and ensured that India end up on the winning side. I can think of so many games in the recent past. It happened in the Champions Trophy that India won again in Dubai. It happened before that, if you remember that Melbourne game, a game where you were dancing. So all crucial games, it's always been Virat. He's been the nemesis. How does this then play out for Pakistan now? When they look at this Indian team, sans a Virat Kohli?
I'm sure they'll be pretty happy not to have to bowl to him, because we've seen some fabulous innings. What about that Melbourne innings where the match looked lost as far as India was concerned? And then he hit those unbelievable 2 sixes of Harris Rauf to take India close to a win. And then Ashwin finished it. He and Ashwin, of course, finished it towards the end. So, yes, I think if I were a Pakistani, I would certainly be breathing a lot easier that they are not playing against Kohli. Kohli the cricketer, not just the batter, Kohli the cricketer.
I'm going back to the Pakistan team, and because we were talking about the stalwarts from India, no Babar Azam, no Rizwan, but I don't have a similar question for you like I had for Virat. In fact, what I want to know from you, Pakistan without Babar and Rizwan, are they better off or worse off?
Well, like we've seen with the Indian team, when you don't have 2 big names, sometimes that shadow which is there, which covers the junior players, is not there. So they are out in the sun themselves, and they have to deal with the sunlight themselves, and it works well. We've seen that happening with the Indian team without the shadow of some of these big names in the last couple of years, and particularly the tour of England. Look at the number of players who flowered on their own. So it could very well happen with Pakistan without the shadow of these 2 players. Some of the younger players might come out and play some top cricket.
I'm looking at the playing 11s now. What is it that India can do? And Samir, this is a trend that we've seen with this new Indian team. I call it new because under Surya Kumar Yadav, they've been setting the stage on fire. Unarguably the best T20 team in the world with the brand of cricket that they've been playing. But they've tweaked one thing which usually we haven't seen with the Indian T20 team. They're only playing one out-and-out fast bowler. The second fast bowler's role is given to Hardik Pandya. We saw that in the home series versus England, and then we saw that in that first game that India played versus UAE. You think in the game versus Pakistan, that's again the right strategy, continue, or you'd want to tweak something?
As long as you're winning it, the combination is always going to be not even worth talking about, because you go and see the pitches, the circumstances, who are you playing, and then by that token, I think you pick your final playing 11. And India have seen that on these surfaces, it is still pretty hot in Dubai, and so under these circumstances, the spinners will probably be a lot more effective. So that's why I think both India and Pakistan have gone mainly with spinners, with a top-class new ball bowler, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Jasprit Bumrah, two terrific bowlers, and also a capable bowler who's more a batter, but who can use the new ball quite well, like Hardik Pandya.
You're right there, Shaheen. You're talking about spinners. Both teams are relying on those spinners. In fact, the last encounter, Pakistan had 4 spinners that were operating. India in their first game had 3 spinners, and all of them have been doing well. I'm putting all the 7 together. Spinners are making merry in Dubai. Is it fair to say then, whichever team and the spinners of whichever team perform better, that's the team that's going to come out victorious on the day?
Depends on the pitch. If the pitch is not helping spin, then it's got to be the batting. How the batters deal with the spin, that's going to be the important thing. Look, in limited overs cricket, batters like the ball to come on to the bat. And the spinners, slow bowlers, will mean that the ball will take a little time to come onto the bat. So the batters really have to make the effort, really have to make the connections to get the sixes. So whichever team bats better against these spinners, more than the spinners, because I don't think the spinners will take wicket with the ball turning square. The spinners will take wickets, maybe with the batters being caught in the deep or mistiming the shots. And so that it's up to the batters more than the spinners, I think.
Finally, before we let you go, thanks so much for building up this game for us, looking at the finer points. But as I said, final question. If I was to ask you to pick that one ace in the pack for India, I know it's a team that is packed with match winners from number 1 to number 11, but one ace in the pack for you, looking at the conditions, looking at the opposition, who are you going for?
I think the Indian captain, Suryakumar Yadav, because not only as a batter and he's bowled the odd over as well, being the surprise packet and picking up the wicket as we saw in Sri Lanka, but I think his overall captaincy, and that is going to be the ace in the pack as far as India is concerned.